not familiar with it, bring us up to speed. What would one find if they walked into the 7 tech shops, now soon 8, around the world?
You come in and you take your idea that you have and you can express it with things like milling machines and lathes, computer-controlled equipment like CNC mills, woodworking, plastics, electronics, automotive, sewing, laser cutters.
You can work on
3D
anything you
printers,
want.
anything.
And what's the model? There's a membership
It's
fee.
like a health club. It's just like a gym. So you join as a member and you come in, and instead of working out your muscles, you work out your, your.
And do you find that your members are individuals, or are they sometimes companies that set up shop, sort of like an incubator space?
Yeah, it's really all over the range, all over the map. We've got people that just come in and want to, engrave wine glasses for their friend's wedding, just to make a couple of those, to someone starting a, potentially multi-billion-dollar business.
Wow. And so you started this in 2006, and so where are you now? You mentioned that 8th tech shop that's opening up in Germany?
No, our 8th is going to be in Washington, D.C. That opens in a couple of weeks. We have announced that we're opening one in Munich with BMW. And it's really exciting. They just poured the concrete floor for the new building.
Wow. And is that your first international tech shop?
I think that's going to be the first one.
So your co-founder once described, told the New York Times that he believed that Americans would trade up from IKEA furniture to tech shop so that they could point to the chair in their house and say, I made that. So first of all, Jim, you're going to pry our IKEA furniture out of our cold dead hands. But how's the progress toward that goal?
I mean, right now we see people coming in and doing just that. They don't want to buy the one off the shelf that a million other people have bought. They discovered that it's not that hard to take your design, kind of even take that design, tweak it a little bit, make some changes that customize it for your application, and actually cut it out on the equipment in the shop. I mean, it could be something as simple as, well, the only bookcase they have at IKEA is this wide, and my wall is this wide. So, or it could go as wild as, I don't like any of those designs, I want to make my own.
Well, where do you think we are in terms of, kind of infecting, mainstream culture with that maker sensibility and basically restoring, the way that we viewed machinery back in, in an earlier age?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say where we are on that progress and where, how big the maker movement is going to be. But the analogy I use sometimes is kind of like the health club craze and separately the desktop publishing craze. You go back at the beginning of those and you ask me the same questions. If I was making laser printers for desktop publishing, how would we ever know that everyone would have desktop publishing software and hardware in their houses and not even think about it being called desktop publishing? I really am looking forward to a day when being a maker is not it's not an unusual thing. It's just everybody just does it.
Right. So you mentioned the partnership with BMW and also DARPA, going in the military, invested some money. So talk about how these institutions are helping you scale the model.
Yeah, well, each of the partnerships has worked a different way. Right? We've got Ford Motor Company that we opened the tech shop in Detroit with them, and their patent submissions are up wildly. 60 to 100% more patents have been
from your members,
gotten from them, from their employees, and from
I see.
people
So
using tech shop.
Ford employees are using the tech shop in Detroit. Okay.
We've got a partnership with Lowe's, the Home Improvement Center, that we opened the location in Round Rock, Texas. We did Pittsburgh and the upcoming DC location with DARPA, as you said. And they bought the memberships and gave them to the VA. So we're giving those memberships away to veterans, full year membership with $350 worth of classes for them just to either build their advanced manufacturing skills so they can be better potential employees for a lot of the big companies, or just take that entrepreneurial idea and try to start a business and create jobs.
So what does DARPA want from you guys then, or what are they expecting out of this partnership?
It's secret. Now, DARPA is very, very interested in open innovation. That's kind of the underlying theme with all of our partners, that they want to see where this open innovation play can go and how many people can be affected by it.
So somebody told me once that the original Square reader, the payment card that you plug into your smartphone came out of a tech shop.
It did.
Talk about how that started and also what other kind of consumer products you've seen incubated in the tech shop.
Sure. So the story with Square was Jack Dorsey, a co-founder of Twitter. You think that if anyone could go out to Silicon Valley with a history like that and raise money, it would be somebody like Jack. So he goes out, gives his pitch for this new idea, Square, that he had, just with PowerPoint slides, and they just shut him down because they didn't get it. So he came back with his partner, Jim Kelby, and they prototyped just over a matter of weeks, went through many, many iterations of the little reader that plugs into the top of the phone. And then they got new meetings with some of the VCs. They went out there and they said, this is great. They said, okay, I don't think you understood when we were here before. Give me your credit card. So they give the credit card. He runs it, does like a $50 charge, has them sign it, and then he explains that that money just went from your bank account into mine. And that's how they raised their first big tranche of VC money, was just by doing these demos.
Awesome. So maybe a question relevant to our audience here, if you're in a design firm or an architecture firm, and you have a hiring opportunity, and there's one candidate with maker experience, who is a do-it-yourselfer, what do you feel like the advantages are of having that mentality, versus someone with more purely, I guess, professional experience?
Yeah, this is not true for everyone, but I think generally speaking, if that person is a maker, they have the mindset where they can just come up with the design that they want. They can kind of iterate, maybe collaborate with other people, but then just do it. A lot of times you'll see people that are designers in large companies where they feel that they have to go through the process, so they have to get stuff approved, and they do focus groups, and they do all this stuff. So like, just go and do it, just make it. And so I think that's why I would hire the maker over maybe the career person. So
since we don't have a lot of time left, let me ask you, what is the most inspiring thing that you've seen come out of tech shop recently, and what's the last thing you've made? Because I know you spend a lot of time in the tech shops around the country.
I see so many things come out of tech shop. I think, I don't know, one of them that I really like is the folding kayak. It's a kayak, a full-size kayak that folds down.
And you can get it in your pocket.
Not quite, but you can put it on your back and you can pack into a remote lake or something. It was made because the guy that made it lives in an apartment here in San Francisco, and he was spending all his money to store his regular kayak. That's kind of dumb. What if they make one that folds up and they can slide it behind a TV? And what have I made? The ironic thing is I built Tech Shop because I had like hundreds of things I wanted to make. And
now you have to run it.
Now I have to run the company with my team, and I haven't really had a lot of time. But I did make an electric truck, cargo truck in 2011 for Burning Man. So that was fun. It was 2-car batteries and everything. It was a nice ride.
If you had told us before, we could have ridden out here.
Yeah.
Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.